สวัสดี A very good morning to everyone. I am Piyawadi Kovitunkit. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to today's event, especially the upcoming panel session, Increasing the Bottom Line, Underwriting and Preventing Fraud with Data and AI Tools, which I will be a moderator for this session. Digitalization has enabled development of new data-driven business models that impact the entire insurance value chain and also help creating new underwriting and portfolio risk management techniques. In today's discussion, we will get a closer look into digital technology and AI tools, including its application on underwriting and pricing, its contribution to fraud and claims management, as well as skills and capabilities that insurance professionals need to possess to effectively embrace these emerging technologies. And today we are very fortunate to have two distinguished panelists with us today from Chubb and Chief Technology. So let me give you a brief bio of our distinguished guests for today. First, I would like to provide a brief introduction to our Chubb speaker, Mr. Kaleb Adams. Kaleb is the Executive Vice President of Data and Analytics at Chubb. In this role, he is responsible for advanced analytics, spanning all lines and functions, including marketing, underwriting, and claims analytics. Key areas of focus currently are building out Chubb's capabilities and operationalizing those tools to improve business performance. Kaleb joined Chubb in 2011 and has over 25 years of insurance industry expertise. Prior to coming to Chubb, he worked at the Hartford Insurance Group. While there, he held several leadership roles, including heading up the Hartford Claim Analytics and Innovation teams, building up an analytic practice for the Hartford Claim Third-Party Administration, and running the Hartford Business Owners Policy Product Development area. Kaleb also worked in General Electric Accident and Health Unit, leading up a team of analytics responsible for developing marketing models. Over his career, Kaleb has developed extensive expertise across numerous analytic areas, including machine learning, large language models, and their responsible applications in marketing, rating, underwriting, and claims. He holds several patents in analytics, most notably for using claims data to drive better outcomes. And Kaleb has a master's degree in statistics and a Master of Business Administration from MIT. Please give a round of applause for Kaleb Adams. So we have very distinguished speakers, so the brief introduction is not quite brief. Second, we have Mr.Chia Seng. Seng is currently Customer Success Manager at Chief Technology for Asia. With his role is to ensure that existing clients reap the full benefit of utilizing Chief Technology industry leading AI technology to automate and optimize decisions for greater speed and accuracy to benefit policyholders. Over the last 10 years, his involvement in the insurance industry has largely been in the InsurTech space, focused on driving tech initiatives, partnerships, pushing the boundaries with fellow insurance peers. He has been fortunate enough to be part of Asia InsurTech growth in the last few years. So without further ado, let me go with the first question that get into this session. We have seen a lot of development of AI and AI-related tools during the past few years. For Seng, can you go over the development that you have seen in the Asian region? What you see, it's very interesting and might be the disrupting tools for the insurance industry in the near future.
Thank you. So I think in Asia, compared to the rest of the world in Europe and US, where insurance penetration is still relatively low, there's actually still a lot of opportunities for us to distribute and make sure that insurance is accessible and affordable to most people. That they're still underinsured and underserved, right? So there are many ways. Of course, there's other topics that the other speakers at this event has spoken about. on how to more effectively distribute and make sure that insurance is accessible, right? So the focus right now is on how do we make sure the risk from an insurance perspective can be better utilized and served using technology such as AI, right? So in terms of underwriting, from a shifts perspective, right, what we see in Asia is there's a massive increase in insurance uptake over the last few years, especially with COVID. Health policies, health claims have gone up significantly. But of course, with every claim that comes in, there's a lot of potential abuse, and I wouldn't say fraud, but more abuse and wastage when it comes to claims, and that affects the profitability and bottom line for the insurers itself, right? So when you have so much massive data and touch points coming in, it's very challenging for insurers at the operational level to be able to identify and pick out some of these wastages and claims accurately. So this is where AI technology comes in to better serve and help the claims team in doing their jobs better and paying out the right claims at an efficient manner without impacting the customer satisfaction of your customer base. And I think that in the long run drives sustainability and profitability for insurers and the insurance industry as a whole.
Yeah, that's very interesting because if you cannot detect fraud, then you go into your claims management, and then you increase the price for the insurance, and that doesn't good for the policy holders, right?
Yeah, that's right. So you think about it, right? Every year, our insurance premiums are increasing, but how many people are actually claiming insurance, right? I think maybe 1 in 5 or 2 in 5 people actually claim on average, depending on which lines of businesses. I myself, I haven't claimed any single insurance in Singapore in the last 10 years, but my premium has quadrupled. Yep, because obviously cost is increasing every year, claims amount it's going up. So actually you're paying for other people who are claiming. But so I'm not saying it's wrong. That's how the fundamental concept of insurance works. But what we found with existing customers is that there's an increasing trend in fraudulent and wastages in the claims itself. And this actually contributes to the overall operation cost for the insurers. So we want to be picking out some of these suspicious activities among your policyholders or even service providers as well. Sometimes it's not the policyholders. It could be your service providers, such as your workshops, your agents, your garages, or even your hospital, medical providers, or doctors who are making more money than the insurers in this space. Yeah.
For those who may not understand like the fraud thing and the fraud effect of the insurance premium, there are a lot of research doing around the world, and it says that maybe claims fraud might contribute to like 15 to 25 or 30% of claims payment for the insurance industry. So if we can get rid of some of the claim fraud, then the benefit goes to the policy holders for sure, right? So Kaleb, because of your role as the executive vice president, so you have seen so many things, so many developments, especially the technology that will help handling this claim issue. So can you share with us, if you could, like in your perspectives, the benefit of using AI and related technologies to manage this risk?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple of examples, and I'll give them to you as a father rather than an insurance executive. This morning, on my phone, I had an alert from my insurance company at 4 a.m. My daughter, who lives in the United States, was driving the car, and the insurance company notified me that her driving was not very good, right? And so I think about that as a customer and how AI is helping me as the customer, because now I'm able to talk to my daughter about her driving, about the risk behaviors, and AI becomes a tool for us to prevent accidents versus just paying for accidents. And so it's a service that we are able to provide to our customers. I also think about it in terms of just how the policy is serviced. And if you think about how people like to interact with their companies, I don't want to call and wait 20 minutes to talk on a phone. What's great, and this is something Chubb has done, is I'm able to interact on WhatsApp with a chatbot that's able to answer my policy questions. And then that's able to flow through all the way into my claims activities. So yes, there might be an uptick in fraud, but if my claim is not fraudulent, the AI can review my claim, it can look at the information, and it can say, this is a claim we should process more quickly. And so as a customer, that's a great experience for me because I'm not paying for other people's fraud activity since that's been rooted out, and I'm also able to get my claim settled more quickly. So I think from the risk management, to the servicing, all the way to the claims management, AI can make for a better customer experience.
Thank you. Very interesting. So you can see that AI can be like embedded into the whole insurance value chain, right? Especially like preventing the accident and help the customer's life better. Especially we live in a digitalization world and we need a lot of quick response from insurance companies. Wow, very interesting. So when you talk about AI, and you said that it can touch the customers across its whole value chain. And like for Thailand, we are in a developing stage for adopting this AI. So can you give us the example or the experience of how to like encourage the insurance companies and all the customers to get involved in this tools thing, and the insurance literacy in Thailand might not be as much as high as those policyholders in the region. So can you explain how to use AI to increase the insurance literacy of the policyholders as well?
Yeah, so I think AI on a couple of perspectives. One is identifying product needs for customers. So if, for example, I have an accounting firm, I could go to my agent and say I need insurance policy. The AI could recommend to the agents, Kaleb's accounting firm might need a cyber policy as well. So you think about how underpenetrated the Thai market is for insurance, and it's because of some of the lack of awareness and the lack of information around what customers need. And AI can certainly help drive that by identifying product needs for the customers. The other thing, as we talked about with my example and my daughter driving, is being able to identify services that the customers need and deliver those services more directly to the customers. So it's providing more than just a claim payment that you'll see once every 5 years. It's something that is ongoing and benefits the customer's life. So hopefully by delivering those services, by finding products that customers need, we're able to increase the insurance literacy of the Thai consumers.
So AI can be like part of the agent role, like to advise the customers on their risk potential and find the right solutions for them, right?
Yeah, I think one of the powers of AI is that it's going to assist our agents to make their job better. It's going to assist our customers for better risk management. It's going to assist underwriters for better decisions. And it will assist claims handlers to help them do their job. I think people view AI perhaps in the wrong way, that AI replaces humans, and that's not the case. What AI is doing is it's helping us to be better at our jobs and make us be able to deliver services faster and more accurately.
So that's why we call it AI tools, because we can use it as a tool for like all
Yes.
departments and our stakeholders in the insurance ecosystem, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when you talk about AI, that means that you need some database to help and train the AI tools. So in the process of developing this database, what is your recommendation or the experience that you want to share?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I'll share from Shift's perspective when we work with insurance companies and associations in terms of data. So from an individual insurer's perspective, having a good access to as much data, it's ideal. So whether is it structured or unstructured, we got to start somewhere. And the most important thing for us to build an effective claims automation or underwriting fraud detection tool is accessibility to historical data. Obviously, we can't start with nothing. That will be extremely difficult to identify the risk or potential fraudulent touch points in the claims cycle and process. So historical data is important. That's one. And we also need to have real-time data. For example, if a claim comes in, it will be good that insurer knows it from a system point of view, and that gets feed into the machine and model so that they will be able to identify this risk as soon as possible for the team to make an informed decision and not keep the policyholder waiting. So that's purely from an operational point of view. And of course, having access to external data such as credit risk scoring, government databases which are available to financial institutions or the public would be a good to have as well, right? Because you want to be able to cross-reference to what's happening out in the industry or in the market to make sure that you don't leave any spots uncovered. Yep. So, for example, in Thailand's case, it could be OIC who could play that role as a regulator to drive that kind of initiative, because every market will have its own data privacy restrictions and concerns on how personal information is shared between insurers. So I think, yeah, that's my opinion.
That's what I'm going to ask you about the data privacy issue, because when you involve with a lot of data, especially like health insurance data, you cannot avoid the personal data issue, right? So you have to be very careful, but you have ways to handle it in the right way. Right? All right. Okay. So when you said that you use AI tools to help serve customers better, we need a lot of database to be able to analyze each segmentation of the customers. So I just wondering how much of this database that will help you do the personalization without breaking like the law of large numbers thing, because you need a big enough set of data, but you have to be able to personalize your products at the same time. So how you handle those issues, because different people have different risk profile and different life size.
So from a data perspective, right, having historical data, it's the minimum to begin with. And also it's not so much about the quantity, I would say quality. It's very important as well. If, for example, if today the insurance company gives us all unstructured data in PDF formats and images, we will probably be spending more time digitizing these data rather than trying to make analysis and building models to improve the businesses, right? So I would say the quality of data, it's more important. And of course, if you are not capturing some of this essential or critical information today in a proper format, then it is time to start on those processes, right? So that you improve the data quality over time. And of course, in the insurance industry, a lot of not just in Thailand, like even around the world. A lot of insurance companies are still on legacy systems, and with how digital has taken off in the industry as a whole, some of them are also trying to modernize their operations to collect more touch points and more data points for them to analyze. So I think it's an iterative and ongoing process. There's no shortcut to it, right? And of course, back to the point of data privacy, right? When it comes to analysis, in the AI space, I think it's keep becoming a more popular and hot topic, right? On the use of the governance of AI. You know, what is ethical, what is not. So we have to be very clear on what are the data touch points that we use in making those recommended decisions, and what are the things that we absolutely do not use at all, because we have to be very careful here. Yeah. We don't want to be denying someone the opportunity to be insured or be paid out a claim because you are using the wrong data touch points, or there's some bias involved in building of the models.
That's very interesting point, right? Because there are like always two sides of the same coin. So you have to be very careful when you use your AI like in the right way and not abuse any aspect of the insurance ecosystem. And coming back to a fraud issue, I think it's the big concern for the insurance industry. We have talked about it for so many years, but we still haven't found like the right tools and the right process to handle it. So can you share with us the thing that Chief Technology has been adopt and propose and implement to all of your customers? Like to begin with, what should the industry or the companies do, and maybe on the regulators part, so that we can cooperate and make it happen very soon.
Okay, so maybe I'll start off with quickly on the first point from a regulator or industry point of view. So from Chief's experience and working around with associations around the world. So we have 6 associations around the world. So in Singapore, we have General Insurance Association of Singapore. In Hong Kong, we have HKFI. So that's in Asia. In UK, we have the Insurance Fraud Bureau, IFB. And in France, we have Alpha. And in Canada, we have Equité and Clear, which is the health association equivalent of the Insurance Association. And in US, we work with NICB as well as a partner to combat fraud and exchange information, right? So from an association level, right, the most difficult challenge is always getting everybody, right, or if not most insurers to share and participate in such a initiative, right? So for Singapore, where I come from, we are very fortunate. It's a top-down approach. So at the association level, all the members, the whole industry, agree to share data in exchange for the benefits. So in Singapore, if a policyholder wants to renew his or her motor insurance, there's a national database where all the insurers will have access to, where they can check whether this policyholder has any past accident records, and when it comes to renewal, the correct or appropriate risk pricing is then evaluated and passed on to the consumer, right? So from Singapore, we are lucky because no problems with data sharing. Every member has agreed to share. And of course, we are also governed by PDPA, Singapore's personal protection data rules. So yeah, so we just have to make sure that we follow those rules. In Hong Kong, it's a little bit more challenging because Hong Kong has a really, really strict data privacy laws, which all insurers must strictly follow. So in terms of data sharing in Hong Kong, what we are doing with the insurers over there, it's when information is shared with the association, when there's a potential fraud or suspicious activity coming in from a claim, what the insurers are able to see is only information that is related to their own claim, right? So if I want to find out what is the claim information or claim details from another insurer, the information is actually locked. It's masked. So if they want to require or inquire such information, they then have to write officially to the insurance company and they will discuss and disclose whatever it's required and necessary for the investigation to proceed. So in that aspect, data privacy is still enforced. There is no leakage of personal information to other third-party insurers that's not involved. So there are many different models. The technology obviously today allows and supports whatever requirements from the data privacy standpoint. It's a question of how comfortable the regulator or insurance industry is in sharing such information. Yep.
Thank you. So turning to Kaleb, you are in like a big company that successfully implement these AI tools and all related technologies. So from your perspectives, what kind of skills and capabilities that the insurance professionals need to possess to make it like happen and very successful for the company? What kind of skills and capabilities that you want and you are looking for them?
Yeah, well, as we talked about, so much of this is dependent on good data. And so I think the first is very good data engineering skills to manipulate the data, to store it in a secure way, to merge the data, and to put everything together for analysis. I think another thing that probably gets missed is good business skills as well. And having a business team highly partnered with a data science organization so that we know how to plug our solutions into the business processes and make sure they are adding value. And then the last thing I'll say is having skills around tracking and measuring the impact that you are making. So often we put solutions in place and we don't have the right reporting capabilities to measure what the outcomes are of any sort of changes that we make. So between the data engineering, the business skills, and then the tracking, those are really three of the big levers that we need as far as skill sets go.
Is it difficult to find all of them like in one person?
Yes. Usually we have to partner and have cross-functional teams. So people from underwriting, people from claims, and people from the IT organization all working together.
So that means that you have to have like good business person who can understand business very well and be able to use the data in the right way and has the ability to know what kind of data, what kind of quality of data that the company needs to handle off everything that we are talking about. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And so choosing the right business partners to work with is probably the most important step because they have to be passionate about what we're doing, they have to believe in it, and they have to be able to influence the organization to implement the changes that are going to happen.
So just wondering, like, if it happens sometimes that when you decided to implement the AI project or a technology-related project, and you have all study and do the research and everything, and sometimes the result didn't go out as you planned. Is it happen in the past, and how did you handle with that issue?
Yeah, and I think that gets back to the importance of tracking what we do. So we know what works. I think it's also important to think about these as a series of test and learn. So we'll test, we'll learn, we'll try something new, and we never look at it as a single step in a journey. We keep going multiple steps just to make sure that we keep trying new things, and sometimes it doesn't work. I think that gets back to also making sure that we have the right business partner because when I said that you have to be able to influence any sort of change that you're making to a process, the underwriters or the claims handlers, they have to believe in that change, and so you need people there to make sure to show them the results, to influence them and to sell them on the changes and start using whatever tools we put out there.
we have seen a lot of tech companies that set their footstep into the insurance sector. Some of them can be our business partners, and some of them might thinking about like being the insurance companies themselves, like we seen like the Tesla insurance in the U.S. So what's your point on this? What kind of action or strategy that insurance companies need to think about and to implement in the future to be able to compete to these tech companies?
Yeah, I think you mentioned Tesla. They obviously have a great advantage in that they have all of this data. And I think that is one of the differentiators going forward is the data, making sure that you have very good data. I think as an insurance company, though, what we have is obviously a lot of claims experience, which gives us an advantage. We have underwriting expertise, and we also have a knowledge of what our customers need. And so I think we have to look at the strengths that we have, understanding what our customers need, being able to deliver those services to them, and be able to change and adapt to the customer's needs. So yes, there are a lot of technology companies getting in, but I think the insurance companies are still well positioned because of all of our experience and information that we have.
Okay. And what kind of change that you have seen on the policyholders side during the past few years, especially after the COVID thing? You have seen any development or any interesting behavior or lifestyles of the customers?
I think the biggest is we all know that people work from home has changed their driving patterns. So that's the biggest change in the customers' behaviors. But I think over the years, technology has opened up different ways that customers want to interact and want to have services delivered to them. An expectation of a customer is to be able to interact on WhatsApp like I talked about earlier. And I think that accelerated during the pandemic because customers got more used to technology. And so their expectations on how they interact with the customers and the ease of doing business has probably changed. So we've seen it both in terms of the service model, but also some of the risk characteristics have changed. So I think on both sides, the past 3 or 4 years have changed how we do business.
So insurance companies has to disrupt themselves to understand customer better, to keep the service to their policyholder faster than it happened in the past, and they have to be able to understand their policyholders better than everyone else, right? Otherwise, you cannot achieve your goals and you cannot serve the policyholders like you wish you want to do, right? So I think we don't have much time for this session, so just want to ask you about the key takeaways that you want to give to the audience about these AI tools and all of the related topics. If the audience want to go home, what the key takeaways for this session that you want to give it to them?
Yeah, so I'll start out. I'll say that I think AI scares people because people think about it, taking jobs or transforming society in a bad way. But from an insurance perspective, AI I think will be a great benefit to the customers. It will enable more service. It will price risk more accurately. So if you haven't had a claim in 10 years, your rates won't go up 4 times. And it will deliver better risk management services so you don't have a claim in the first place. So I think from a consumer standpoint, there's lots of benefits to be gained. From an insurance company standpoint, I think it will allow us to do our jobs better and more easily and make better decisions. So I think it's a big benefit on both the customer side and the insurance company side. Unless you're committing fraud. In that case, it's not going to be a benefit for you.
Yeah, So for AI, right, the key takeaway I think is it's not a silver bullet. It doesn't solve all your problems. It is, I would say, going to make your lives and jobs better. From an operational standpoint, AI, from what we've seen so far, I would say it's only a starting point to tell you things that you might have not asked, questions you might not have asked, or things you might not have discovered during the insurance operational cycle. So, AI cannot capture things like, it cannot replace or capture things that are physical today. For example, a workshop inspection, unless you want to install cameras, but there are still ways to get around that. So from what we've seen so far, sometimes from a solution standpoint, when we provide alerts or suspicious alerts on fraudulent claims, it's a starting point, right? So when the claim assessor or claim handler goes down to the workshop itself, investigates and asks more questions, they found out that a lot of details and information were omitted. So these are things that an AI cannot do. You still need a human touch to make an accurate assessment before you make a decision later on. So yeah, so we humans are here to stay, and yeah. So AI is just to hopefully make us do our jobs better and be more efficient in our daily lives.
All right, so just put in one sentence, embrace AI in the right way. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to the end part of this panel session, increasing the bottom line, underwriting and preventing fraud with data and AI tools. I would like to thank all of the speakers, Mr. Chia Hong Seng, Customer Success Manager from Chief Technology, and Mr. Kaleb Adam, Executive Vice President of Global Digital Analytics of Chubb, for the informative and interesting presentation. And please give a round of applause for the speakers.